Although Ghana practices a multi-party system of democracy, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, and the new Patriotic Party, NPP, have over the past 3 decades completely dominated both the presidential and parliamentary elections, leaving the crumbs for the remaining parties. In election 2000, for instance, the NDC and the NPP accounted for as many as 92% of the total votes cast in the first round of the elections alone. In 2008, the situation worsened for the smaller parties as the NPP and the NDC shared over 96% of the total votes cast among them. In the last general elections in 2016, 5 smaller parties contested the elections, but altogether they pooled less than 2% of the votes. Professor Ransford Jampo is a political scientist and a lecturer at the University of Ghana, and he's been speaking on this trend and its implication on Ghana's democracy.
Once people hold on to one political party, it is difficult for them to break ranks with that party to go support another party. It is our feature as a transitional or developing democracy. It got to certain times that we witnessed certain elections that could not be won without the support of some smaller political parties. But for some time now, it's becoming clear. I think 2012 elections, 2016 elections, and even some other previous elections show that the 2 main political parties won the elections without the support of the smaller political parties. It tells you that Ghana, gradually, technically speaking, is no longer a multi-party democracy. It's essentially becoming a 2-party state.
Per statistics from the Electoral Commission (EC), there are currently 29 registered political parties in the country, but Ghanaians have consistently voted for either the NPP or NDC. But will the status quo remain, or are we going to see a paradigm shift? Dr. Alidu Seidu is a political scientist and he offers some answers.
There are several theories that explain voter behavior. The most common one that we use in Ghana is the dominant party model. So people vote because of party. So to the extent that if they put a more capable candidate on the ticket of a smaller party, and they put relatively an incompetent candidate on the ticket of a bigger party, people are likely going to vote for the bigger party candidate than the smaller, because they believe in the party strongly than they believe in the capacity of the individual who is leading. So because that is the case, and because the NDC and the NPP have so much broad-based support, their people tend to vote for their parties regardless of who is there.
Despite the startling statistics, however, Professor Ransford Jampo believes Ghanaians are gradually losing interest in the 2 dominant political parties.
We are tired of the 2 main parties. We are tired of the parties that we even support. In fact, some would actually go out of their way to threaten that we won't vote. So I've interviewed voters who have said, I won't vote for my party, that is NDC, but I will not vote for NPP too. Some have threatened, I will not vote for my party, NPP, but I will not vote for the NDC too. Where will you vote? I will not even vote.
He further opines that the abysmal performance of third parties over the years has rendered them irrelevant.
The evidence show that gradually they are becoming irrelevant in the attempt to win seats, at the presidency or the presidential election.
But the third parties have refuted these subjections, insisting that Ghanaians will reject both the NDC and NPP due to their incompetence. Nanaya Jantua is the General Secretary of the Convention People's Party (CPP), and she says a vote for any of these 2 parties will be a wasted one.
NPP and NDC is a wasted vote because we've tried them. They've come and gone, we've tried them. It is time for Ghanaians to try the Convention People's Party. The only reason why people would queue to go and vote because they want a change in their livelihood. And as it stands now, I believe that most Ghanaians want a change in their livelihood.
The National Democratic Party's General Secretary, Alhaji Mohammed Frimpong, also believes his party will perform impressively in this year's elections.
So we are very, very much optimistic. Empirically, one cannot put a finger on how far you're going to be. But at least we want to attain close to 10%. I mean, even though it's been a norm that so-called smaller parties, we don't make it even to that total, but at least we are aiming at it.
For his part, Bernard Mona said he is optimistic that the PNC will win the 2020 general elections.
These political parties of NPP and NDC that has alternated political power, that today majority of Ghanaians cannot find job, is as a result of the failure of the NDC and NPP to think through policies that will work for our nation. They are auctioning Ghana for the highest bidder, and that is why our democracy is at this level. We think that 2020 the people of Ghana will reject the NPP for their poor record. As for the NDC, we don't envisage that they will come back.
But is this really the case? Are Ghanaians ready to vote in a third force to kick these dominant parties out?
For me, it's NDC, NPP, and that's it. Because the people who are telling you that, okay, we are tired of this one, they are the same people who go to vote for NDC, and they are the same people who go to vote for NPP. You understand? They follow this small party, and they tell that, they say it's in Ghana or Chi, so the people feel that they have people following them. But at the end of the day, what happens? Nothing. They go back and vote for NDC. And somebody will tell you that, so his own constituency, where he voted, he got only one. What about his wife and children?
I would have loved to try out another party to see how they will handle things. But then as it stands, I mean, let's be serious over here. NPP and NDC are the only two driving forces when it comes to politics in Ghana. If I should vote another party, that would be a wasted vote. So, I don't think it's worth the risk of going to stay in line to vote at the risk of corona and all other things. And then at the end of the day, whether I voted for NPP or I voted NDC, I get the same thing. So rather, I'll stay at home.
So far, for us, we the Ghanaians, to change our mentality, I think it's not now. It's going to take us for long because...
How long do you think?
Because the perception is very hard for these small parties or the new parties to take over, because it's going to take us long years,
NPP, that's two people they can win power for Ghanaians. The others, I don't know, they can't do anything for us. They're just playing cricket. They want to get name cricket, that's all.
However, flag bearer of the All People's Congress, Dr. Hassan Ayariga, is urging voters to, in quote, waste their vote on the APC for real change.
The two major parties that have ruled against the minority parties always have this perception that when you vote for the minority parties, you will not win, you are wasting your vote. If you look at one of our campaign messages this time around, we have printed t-shirt that says that hashtag waste your vote on Hassan Ayariga. That kind of campaign strategy is to tell Ghanaians that don't listen to the issue of Ghanaians telling that you are wasting your vote. It is not true. Waste it and let's see who wins.
These political scientists have been highlighting what the smaller parties need to do if they want to take power.
What they need to do is to move away largely from try to reorient the Ghanaian national psyche from identity-based politics to issue-based politics. So Ghanaians will not tend to make their decisions based on competence and quality of manifestos and track record than they will based on identity. So when they begin to shift the discourse away from identity and party-based mobilizations and bring it to issues, it may kind of give them a little bit of support.
They should be thinking about concentrating their energies on winning parliamentary seats, so that they can also influence public policy from that angle. You do not need to always occupy the seat of the presidency to be able to let people know what you stand for and articulate the reforms that you want to achieve.
So, how is all this going to pan out in the 2020 general elections? Are we going to see the NPP retain power, or is its biggest rival, the NDC, going to take over power? Or are we going to see a third party emerging victorious in the elections? Well, I guess we just have to wait and see. Reporting for Citi News from the Independence Square here in Accra, my name is Nashika Caesar for Citi News.